mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us sound of that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us sound of that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Learning and exploring my history, you see. Look, mommy, let us sound of that. We confident, we practice and develop fluency. Look, daddy, let us sound of that. Families, they bond and they representing me. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, auntie, let us sound of that. Nice, I see, let us sound of that.
So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have to sit.
Look, mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us sound of that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us sound of that. Creative, affirming, culture for me too. Look, granny, let us sound of that.
Good evening, Virtual Village family. How are you all doing? I hope everybody is doing well. I know I am forever loving the sound of that intro. It just never gets old to me, enjoying it and also enjoying the visuals, seeing all the wonderful villagers who have come through since the beginning of the school shutdown to read with us. We had mothers, fathers reading with their children coming on and braving it by themselves, like this little one right here. Shania telling us good evening, all the families and how all of the virtual village family, and then this lovely one right here, Miss Michelle Paulden Armstrong, saying she loves this, love you too, so glad that you are here. And then we have Miss Newsom, who has been our community connector, which she our first or second community connector and definitely a supporter. So glad to have her here. We know that she is here to support our community connector this evening. You guys make sure you don't go anywhere because we have a wonderful line up tonight. Ooh. Rodney, what is on your mind, Mr. Jordan?
Lots of good things. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since you had the wonderful book drive at James Monroe Elementary School last week. So I'm still living off of the high of that. It was great to see you and the children and the staff and the parents just socially distant swarm the table, if that makes sense, and picking up books and listening to the young people be so excited to be able to have some culturally affirming literature and then thumbing through the pages and seeing themselves and smiling. I've been on several meetings since then with individuals around the state that are also trying to figure out how to be more inclusive in education and in hiring and what they do with children, especially children of color. So been great weather. So it's just been a great week.
Wonderful. Well, it was great to see you there. So glad that you were able to come through. And for our viewers who are not familiar, okay, and I don't know if you knew, Rodney, but that was the 10th. That was the 10th year. So
yes,
we've been donating books to Title I, 100 books. A minimum of 100 books go to each Title I elementary school library. And we've been able to do that in Hampton Roads and in Flint, Michigan. 2 schools each year, making sure that our children in their libraries, that the books are reflective of the demographic they serve. So we bring those Black books to those predominantly Black schools, and we see these wonderful reactions that the children and the staff have in receiving that. And then today as in our current climate, we gave the books directly to the children because of they're not able to go into the school libraries right now. And it's very important now, more so than ever, that we build up these home libraries for our children. So as you said, Rodney, it was wonderful to see how excited they are when they get these books and the excitement of the parents, as well as all of the staff over there, Dr. James, as well as all of her staff at the Mighty Monroe Elementary School. It was a win for the community all around. And as the shirt says, COVID can't stop us. So we made sure that it still happened for our babies, despite what's going on right now. So yes, in the spirit of Shania, let's do this virtual high five right now. Yeah. All right. So let's see. again, we have a wonderful, wonderful lineup going on tonight. We have some dynamic sisters who are here to read for us and to share with us some things that some of the dynamic things that they are doing in their lives. So with that said, we're going to move this train right on. You guys hold on tightly because we got some wonderful things in store. Check it out.
Greetings, virtual villagers. My name is Shania, and do you know what time it is? It's affirmation time! Time to remind ourselves how great we are. So everybody, repeat after me. I am smart. I have purpose. I am confident. I am valuable. My voice is worthy of being heard. I am an asset to my family, school, and community. I respect myself and I respect others. I am beautifully made inside and out. I love my beautiful hair and I love my beautiful brown skin. I am more than enough. Great job, virtual villagers. Can I get a virtual high five? Great job. And always remember how fantastic you are.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I'm Makai, and today's quote is by Walter Dean Myers. Reading is not optional.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, Clever Communities in Action and our community partners have taken action to motivate and inspire children and families online. From reading culturally affirming literature, teaching foundational literacy lessons, and creating jobs for youth, our virtual village continues to grow. To be part of our virtual village, donate, or learn how we are keeping literacy alive, visit clevercommunities.org.
Good morning, students!
Professor Ramona and I are going to be working on fractions today.
Encuentra el país.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him.
Excuse me.
Ay, de nuevo. Teachers are doing whatever it takes to connect with their students.
202.
And Cox is too, by connecting over 140,000 eligible students in need with low-cost internet.
Who wants to see it again?
With the Connect to Compete program from Cox.
All right. So as always, I am super amped from Shania telling us how strong, how powerful we are, that our voices are worthy of being heard. We are so proud of her, and I hope that feeling is resonating with all of you virtual villagers. Shania delivers that affirmation with such confidence. And part of our mission is to ensure that our children are proud of who they are, that they love their history, their culture, themselves as individuals, but also themselves as little brown boys and girls. And so learn that affirmation, say that affirmation, make it a part of your life. Now, I see that my co-host is stuck. We have not had that in a while. There he is. There he is. He is back with me. Now, I was asking you, are you feeling as excited as I am after Shania just delivered that affirmation for us?
You know that's my pick-me-up. Absolutely.
No matter what the day has been like, hearing that, watching that, like you said, is always a pick-me-up. And it's something that we want our children for it to be a mantra that they repeat all the time, as well as our adults. Because, look, we all need a good pick-me-up, okay? And again, we are so proud of her, the way that she delivers that. And then Makai comes through with that quote. And he said, Walter Dean Myers told us that reading is not optional. Okay.
I like that.
And so that is so important. That is so important. We understand around these parts that literacy is liberation. And so we have no options when it comes to reading. So that's why we have been working real hard since the beginning of the pandemic. And well before that to promote literacy and positive cultural representation. So what's on your mind, co-host? Before we dig into our first guest, we don't call them guests. These are our villagers, okay? These are our villagers. So before the first villager comes on tonight, what's running through your mind? What's ruminating through there?
Well,
I know it's
we talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm excited to hear from our villagers. You have some powerhouses coming up that are doing some great things. So you talked about being excited hearing from Shania, and I'm also excited about hearing from these powerhouse villagers you have coming up. So I'm ready to hear what they have to say.
Well, let's hear it, okay? Without any further ado, we want to bring on the first sister who is coming all the way from Flint, Michigan, and is doing a lot of great things when it comes to literacy and her being an author. And we'll find out a little more about that, how that extends throughout her household and to her family. So let's bring on Miss Kiwana Wright.
Hello.
And it's Miss Kiwana Wright Jones now. All right. So great to see you, sis. Glad to see that lovely smile again. How are you feeling this evening?
I am feeling really wonderful this afternoon to be with you all.
We are so glad to have you here. And again, that smile is contagious. Definitely. It's another pick me up for the night. So, yes, you are here tonight and you're going to read with us. But before we dive into that, we want to know a little bit about you. Now, you've been on here before and your daughter's been on here before, but I think you were a little modest when it comes to telling us about your accomplishments. So, tell us quickly a little bit about who you are, what you do, and about that awesome baby girl who you have.
Yes, again, my name is Kiana Wright Jones. I am out of Flint, Michigan. I recently got married. Yay! Like 2 months ago. Yeah, I'm married now. I don't have my ring on tonight, but I'm married now. Also, I am an author as well. I am a self-publisher. I have 5 short devotions that you can find on Amazon. I also am a co-writer in several anthology projects. I'm currently working on the 9th one. And so I enjoy writing. I believe in literacy. I believe in teaching it right here in my home. As Star has said, my daughter is also an author. She is the author of Taylor's Lip Balm. Taylor, I love my lip balm. So she is also has been featured in 2 youth anthologies projects as well. So she continues to write. So she had 2 projects that came out during the COVID as well. She wrote a poem called I Am a Black Girl. So she talks about being proud, being a brown girl. And also, my husband is also an author as well. So all 3 of us are authors. So I'm very, very happy about that. And we're going to continue to write as a family.
That's beautiful. That is wonderful. Now, tell everybody real quickly, how young is Taylor?
Taylor is 10 years old.
Taylor is, look, what do we talk about, Rodney? The 10-year-olds, because we had our Virtual Village 2020 influencers who were the teenagers, and boy, were they powerful. But we learned in this village, the 10-year-olds, they have something to say. Like in the words of Andre 3000, when he said the South got something to say, the 10-year-olds got something to say. They are not playing. They are on the heels and they are observing. They are learning from us, the elder villagers, as well as the ones who just are a little bit older than them. And it's so wonderful to hear how you and your husband are keeping literacy in the forefront with your family. I call that, if we got mom, dad, and child, that's 3 times dope. That's wonderful right there. So yes, everybody, let's give Miss Wright Jones a hand for that. Now you're going to read for us tonight, right? What book are you going to read?
I'm going to read a book called The Best Grandmother Ever. And I'm reading this book tonight, and I am going to kind of shout out to my grandmother. She is deceased, but Beatrice Shepherd was my grandmother, and she was a reader. She believed in reading. Every time I went to her home, she always had an African American book. She always talked about the history. She was a slave herself, and so she talks about she taught me about her life. And so, as a writer, I am writing about my grandmother. So, currently, this book is dear and near to me, especially during this Thanksgiving holiday. She's gone, but I can remember going to her house and smelling her cooking and just being able to get into grandmother's lap, just like this book is going to talk about, because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother as a youth. So, this book is dear and near.
That's beautiful, and I can definitely relate because my granny is how I got started. She started me reading when I was 3. And so I definitely can relate, and all the things you're talking about, the good food you eat and just all the feelings that our grannies, grandma, big mom, whatever we call it. But I know as a community, we know what that is. And you're going to get me tearing up. So I'm going to get off of here because that's a hard one for me to talk about. So I'm going to get off of here and let you do your thing, sis. All right?
Okay.
All right.
So, the best grandmother ever. And this book is written by Jan Swibird and Dolores Johnson. I like to spend time at my grandmother's. Grandmother bakes cookies with me. I like them when they are hot. They are the best cookies ever. I like to sit on grandmother's lap when she reads to me. Then I read to her. She has the best lap ever. Grandmother helps me with my spelling. I sit with her and write. She says, I'm the best speller ever. Grandmother lets me play with her rings and lockets. I made grandmother a pen out of clay. She says it's the best pen ever. Grandmother makes up a bed for me. She tells me stories about her and grandpa. Then she tucks me in and gives me a big hug. She is the best hugger ever. On Saturday, grandmother and I make muffins. We like them with peanut butter and jelly. We make the best muffins ever. Grandmother hangs my pictures all over. She never takes them down. She tells me they are the best pictures ever. I like to joke with grandmother. She likes my jokes. I found a cute picture of my dad. Grandmother says my dad is still good at jokes. She says we tell the best jokes ever. When dad comes to pick me up, he hugs grandmother and says, how's my best mom? Grandmother smiles and says, we had the best time. I'm glad Jasmine was here with me. I smile and say, oh, grandmother, you are the best ever. The end.
But that was definitely a feel good story there. There we go. Yeah, wow. All the feels. Like I said, I kind of have to step away a little bit when we start talking about grannies and all of that. And all of us are nodding our heads because it's just a special time in our growth and development and in our childhood. And if we were blessed to have them anytime during our adulthood, it's just really wonderful. So you did an excellent job with that story. So everybody, let's give Kiwana a hand with that. It is always our pleasure to have you come up here to read. And again, the intention that you had with that story is just, it's so relatable. Like, Rodney, do you have any grandmother memories?
Do I have any grandmother
memories?
Of course, absolutely. Matter of fact, Miss Charissa and I were just tweeting back and forth. She was asking if anybody knew what a jack was, and I was like, yeah, sweet potato jack, apple jack. That's what Grandma made, and so yeah, we're just talking about that this week. So, all kinds of fond grandmother and great grandmother. When you were talking about your grandmother being a reader, so my great grandmother, I think she finished third grade maybe, and she would have this lamp and it had one light bulb, never had a shade on it. But every time you went to her house, you would find her at the kitchen table reading, and that's what she would do. When you came in the house, she wanted to make sure that you had read, and she wanted to ask you questions about what you had read. So as you were sharing that story about your grandmother and reading, I was even thinking about my great grandmother and her determination around reading. So our ancestors understood literacy and culture and community and culturally affirming very well, and it's nice to know it's still flowing through our blood and in our genes.
Definitely. And Kiwana, you want to share, is there any particular memory with your grandma that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I remember going to work with my granny all the time. So she worked at a doctor's office, and I would go to work with her, and I was able to help with the patients, and sometimes I was able to give out like the little pens and things that they would give to the patients. So and then she always took me to McDonald's. Now that's when I got a chance to go to McDonald's. When it was time to go to grandma's house, I knew we were gonna go get some fast food because Granny always would say, "Where you want to go today?" So those memories are dear and near to my heart. So.
They're invaluable, and I appreciate you sharing that with us and having such a heartfelt book selection tonight that just is really getting us all in our feelings, but in a good way. It's definitely a connector. When we talk about culture, we know how grandmas are just a huge part of the African American, I'd say, Black family, period. And so that grandmother presence is everything. And that's another book to add to the collection, everybody. So we encourage you, all the books that our villagers come on and read, the ones that our teachers read on Mondays and Wednesdays, as the book recommendations that we have. These are all titles for you guys to select from and add to the library of the children in your life. And that's whether it's your biological children, children in your family, children in your community, your church, your mosque, children you see in passing. We encourage giving those books away as gifts for birthdays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, which are coming up, or just because. So that was a wonderful title. We can add that to our list as well because we did not have that one. So thank you for that. And before you leave us, was there anything that you would like to share? I know you mentioned that you have your books on Amazon, but can you tell us directly, like, what do we go to? Where can we go to find your books, and where can we go to find Taylor's books?
Well, me and Taylor book currently is on Amazon. Our website isn't completed just yet, so our outlet right now is through Amazon. We will be hosting a book virtual pop-up shop, and I think that's coming up November the 21st. So we'll make sure we get some information to you, Star, as well. And that's where Taylor will be on as well, talking about her book and selling it directly.
We're excited about that. So please make sure you let us know so we can share. And when you do leave us, please feel free to drop the titles in the comment section or direct links so that everybody can go back after the show and find those, because you're gonna love what they're doing. I guarantee it. And again, it's just always a pleasure to have you here. The positive energy, the smiling face, and please tell Taylor that her virtual village family asked about her, and then we are sending her so much love. Okay?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome, and we look forward to having you back, okay?
All right. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, that was great. That was wonderful. Love the energy. And again, I could go on and on talking about grandmothers. Like, and I did not have the fortune that you had to know my great grandmothers, but on my mother's side was granny, and on my dad's side was grandma. And two outstanding women right there. Like, wow.
Yep.
I mean, that could take up a whole show, and I'm not gonna do that because y'all didn't show up for me to talk about granny and grandma. But I'm gonna get y'all one day.
But you know what? When Kwanzaa season gets here, we may have to dedicate a night to just talking about, this. There's always that good opportunity to talk about family and ancestors and passing down stories and memories. So we might have to do a special night and take a time to talk about grandparents and great grandparents and what's been carried on in tradition. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Also, on my mother's side, my grandmother was Granny, and on my father's side, the grandmother was Grandmama Jordan. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Wow. The culture, the community,
Yes.
the familiar aspects that we all have. Ashe. I like what you're saying there about Kwanzaa. That's great. And you guys look out because we will be doing some things for Kwanzaa. But with that said, we are going to take a break and have a word from our sponsors, as well as our young people are going to bring some things for you all. And then after that, we'll be back with our community connector. So don't you guys go anywhere.
This episode of the Virtual Village Show has been brought to you by Target.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I am Jameer, here to bring you today's moment in history. Dr. Gladys West provided the calculations that led to modern-day GPS. GPS technology is everywhere, from the location finder on your phone to the digital maps you use on a drive, and it's all thanks to Dr. Gladys West. West was a pioneering mathematician whose calculations were instrumental in using satellite data to determine precise locations. In 1956, West began working at the Naval Surface Warfare Center in Virginia as the only black woman and one of only 3 black employees. Dr. West began collecting and processing data from satellites and used the information to put together precise models of the Earth's shape. She became lauded for her work and was nominated for an award by her department in 1979. After that, she was named the manager for the first satellite project that could remotely sense oceans, known as the CSAT Radar Elementary Project. Though her work was crucial to developing GPS technology, it wasn't until 2018 that Dr. West became widely recognized and was inducted into the Air Force Space and Missile Pioneers Hall of Fame.
Greetings, virtual villagers. I'm Asia, and I am back to bring you the book recommendation of the day. Jameer told you about the brilliant Dr. Gladys West. If you are interested in learning more about Dr. West, be sure to check out Women Who Count, honoring African American women mathematicians by Shelley M. Jones. This activity book highlights the lives and work of 29 Black American women mathematicians, and it's definitely what you want. You can purchase this book at your local Black-owned bookstore or visit smile.amazon.com and add Clever Communities in Action as your charity, and Amazon will donate a percentage of the price of your purchases at no cost to you.
All right, there. So that was some wonderful information that Jameer delivered. That moment in history is so important because we know that a lot of times pretty much if we don't seek this out ourselves and teach it within our homes, then it's information that is suppressed. It's information that is not put out in the school system as it should be. It's information that gets glossed over. So we have to make sure that we put that out there so that our children understand the contributions that we have made to the world, to the society that we live in. And I've said this quite a few times. We didn't call it Moments in Black History for a reason. And not because there's anything wrong with Black, all day. We know Black is beautiful, powerful, phenomenal, all of these things, but we don't otherize that. we don't minimize that. These contributions are moments in history that shape the entire world and the country and what we do every day. If you got a phone beside you, this is the contribution that help you to get things when you're using your GPS and all of these different things. So it's a moment in history. And I tell you guys that we repost the moment in history by itself the following day. So if you want to share that alone or separately, you definitely can. Share it with the little people in your lives, share it with the big people in your lives. But we've covered so many people and a lot of people who you're not going to find the information on them. We did a conscious effort too to make sure that we did a lot of Black resistance. Not all of them are that, but a lot of the people who you don't hear about who were like, nah, I ain't with this status quo stuff. We here to dismantle systems. And so we shared a lot of those with you guys. So go back and make sure you look those up. Proud of our young people in the way that they deliver those, followed by the book recommendation, which is always something that complements the moment in history that you can also add to your collection that helps to expand upon that conversation about the moment in history. What about you, Jordan? I know you know everybody and what they did. So
I wish I did. I'm glad that not only that segment exists. I like the fact that young people, that Jameer is doing this segment. I mean, I think it has even more impact. So at the same time that we are being educated, he is further deepening his own knowledge and understanding. So I love the Black History fact.
Yes. And we're so proud of him. And if we have a little time, we're going to bring him up at the end if we have a moment, because he has something great that he is doing and everybody needs to hear that and support him. But before we get to any of that, we have our community connector here and we are excited about her. We know that Sister Kiwana kicked it off with the power and the great book that she read and what she and her family are doing. And now we're bringing on this sister who is an attorney, who is an author, who is a parent as well, and doing great things. And she's a friend of the show. So without any further ado, let's bring on Sister Miia.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening.
We are doing well. How are you doing, sis?
Great. You made me sound so good. I wasn't sure who you were talking about.
Stop. You know that you are doing great things. And we are extremely proud of you and to have you here. And, let me see, where do we want to start with you? So the way that we found out about Miia is that Sharice, who is a friend of Clever Communities in Action, and also she does wonderful things here in the Hampton Roads community. She tagged me about some jewels here because she knows what we do when it comes to literacy and representation. And she tagged me and was like, oh yeah, some Black comic books for children. And I was like, what? Okay, so I responded to that. And then Miia and I got involved in a conversation, and boom, here we are here, because I'm like, I want to interview you, sis, and I want the people who know me. I know a lot of people know you, but I want the people who know me to know you as well. So
thank you.
This is wonderful. Yes, so glad to have you here this evening. So tell us, before you read a little bit of the excerpt of your book tonight, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So like you said, I am an attorney, but I'm also a big-time comic book geek. And that means that I am at the comic book conventions, I'm on the web forums, I'm trying to meet up with artists and talking to creators about what they do all the time. And for years, I'd been a fan of the genre. And finally, I decided, why not do one myself? Just see where it goes, see what happens with it. And I noticed that from my comic book collection, whenever my son would take hold of my Spider-Man or Wolverine, and I also collect comics from different countries. So I have a large Korean and Japanese and Belgian and French comic book collection and an African comic book collection, which not many people know about. But I noticed he would take the comic books in hand and say, why does this man have a knife in someone's stomach right now? Or why is Spider-Man punching this guy out? And I would try to change the scene a little. I'd say, oh, they're not punching, they're hugging. They're showing love in a different way. And so I started thinking maybe I should write something that's more geared towards children, that's less violent. There's no violence in any of my comic books. My characters use their intelligence, their sibling rivalry, anything to sort of overcome their problems, even though they have superpowers. And so I just wanted to create something that would be easy for parents to read to children, that was safe to leave with your children until, you know, they're a little bit older and can handle more mature themes. And before I knew it, I was putting little stories together. I'd share them with friends, all while still, you know, working at the law firm and going to my comic book conventions. And little stories grew until finally it became a full comic book, then a second comic book, then a third comic book. And before I knew it, I had a series. So I'm here in New York with two little boys who love flipping through the comics every day and having me read them over and over to them. And the response has been really great. I'm humbled by all the support that has poured in, because I think people need to see this. They need to see Black children being heroes, being in the limelight, doing things, not being victims, but taking charge almost of their own destiny.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And here's the thing: we're gonna have some time to chop it up with you, but you got us all, you know, ready. It's so much that I want to talk to you about with that. But we are going to step away and let you give us some excerpts from your comic books, okay? Because that's what we want that, and then we want to talk to you after the fact. I can't wait to hear you read it. So, you ready, sis?
Yes.
All right.
Ready.
All right, then. Well, we're going to step away and let Miia read some of her comic books for us. All right, Virtual Village family.
So I'm reading today the first 2 pages. I'm reading the first 2 pages from The Incredible I, Enter the Mummy. And the title pays homage to that old Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. The Incredible I is a 5-year-old superhero. And in this adventure, you see his little brother, Starboy. Saving the world is hard work, especially when you're only 5 years old. We see the Incredible I coming in at the top, flying into his secret headquarters, and he's complaining. Why? Because that battle with the teddy bear toughs was really, really rough. And he hopes he stay in timeout. He hopes they stay in timeout forever. Here he is in his secret headquarters, and his Teddy master computer has a message for him. Welcome back, Incredible I. There's an urgent message waiting for you. The Incredible I sits down, relaxes, and says, "Thank you, Teddy. Please play the message." On the screen appears the villain, the Mummy. It is I, the Mummy. You have 30 minutes to solve my clues and find the bedtime bomb hidden in a secret place before it goes off, and children everywhere will have to go to bed. 30 minutes, says the Incredible I, even if they're not tired yet? That's right. And she laughs her evil laugh. Immediately, the Incredible I has to jump into his triple turbo trike, even though he was just about to watch his favorite cartoons. And here he is complaining, "The Mummy always ruins my fun. I need to find that bomb and no time to waste." He jumps in and doesn't notice a little person creeping in right beside him. As he flies off. The Mummy's first clue said that the bomb is where old meets new and you can travel through time. What did that mean? Maybe she means the museum. Supercycle, go into hyperspeed mode. Suddenly, up pops Starboy. Wee, this is fun. Will we get to the bomb in time, big brother? What? A stowaway? What do you think you're doing, Starboy? You're too little to be a superhero. Please, please let me come. I promise I can help. I have powers too. As to what happens next, I'll let you find out in the rest of Incredible I, Enter the Mummy.
That was That was excellent. And then she had the nerve to leave it with a cliffhanger.
That's
Okay.
what I said.
Yes.
That's not fair.
But see, you remember that old commercial, right? When they were like, "Oh, my brothers, you better get your own, all right? Because I have my own, so I'm not having a cliffhanger over here, okay?" That was excellent. Everybody, let's give Miia a hand. I really, really enjoyed that. And so to backtrack a little bit, when you say your superheroes use their intelligence, there is no violence in these books, and they're geared towards little ones. And I think that is so important. And then you said they are empowered characters, not victimized characters. And so I'm just going through my brain like when. It's just absolutely wonderful. So it seems that you wrote with a lot of intention, that when you came up with this idea, you took a lot of the things that you enjoy, things that you've seen, things that you liked and didn't like, and you penned this with a lot of purpose and intention. Is that correct?
Yes, and I was just looking for what I didn't have available. I didn't have a lot of comics that were American with Black heroes in them. I mean, we've all heard of Black Panther, but there can't just be only one. And how about one that's written by Black creators? Why can't I do that? So I saw a gap. I decided to step in and fill it up.
And you did, and that is wonderful. A history maker on here, and then she's so generous with them as well. So, making sure that everybody is aware of this, and I just think it's great. Rodney, I know you have some questions that you would like to ask Miia, so I don't want to. I have some more, but I don't want to monopolize it. So,
I have lots of questions. So one, you first tell me, so did you do your own illustrations, or did you have someone else do the illustrations?
So here's the thing about the comic book process. It's very, very detailed. If you do everything yourself, it's a disaster. You have to do everything from sketches to penciling to coloring to flattening. There's a lot of technical work that goes into it. So what I do is I draw out initial sketches, and then I send it out to another mom who works with me. But she's not in the US, but she and I clicked. We met and talked about my project. So I would send over my sketches. I write the script. I fill out everything. I put in all the direction. And you have to write things like camera angle, where the zoom is going to be, what the focus is. And it takes a lot more than just writing pure text for like a normal children's book or a novel. So the whole process to do one comic book could take a couple of months between the two of us. And I'm obviously doing a lot of the front work. But by the time she fills in the colors, applies pencils, and flattens the panels and sends it back to me in Adobe InDesign, then I'm tweaking, I'm rearranging elements, and I'm saying, okay, this is not going to work. Let's move this here and there. And by the time everything's done, half a year has passed. But it's a labor of love. I lose a lot of sleep, but I don't miss it. I enjoy doing it.
And tell us some more about how you became a comic book geek.
That started from my grandmother. I know we were talking about grandmothers. I know, but mine is a university librarian. She's retired now. And for years, she collected everything. So that's where I started seeing African comics. I would read her collection of newspapers, and they'd have these Nigerian political cartoons in there. And I just loved it. She would always cut it out for me and save it because she knew I really loved it. And I grew up around writers. So I think inevitably I was going to end up doing this. I just thought I should be a lawyer first. And I thought that would be all for a while. But yeah, that's where the love came from. My grandmother, she put that in me. And grandmother, she didn't bake cookies, but she she introduced me to my number one love.
And you were how young when that kicked in?
I started reading pretty early, like around 3, and she raised me for most of my early years, my elementary school years, and some of middle school as well. So it started as soon as I could read, basically.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I was a girl who would
grandmother thing for the night is amazing. I could mirror that as well. Granny started me reading at 3. Granny raised me in the beginning. So many wonderful things that come from our grandmothers, right? Now, a little bit, not to deviate from the topic, but you said that you are an attorney.
Yes.
So what is that like with, being an attorney and then being a comic book writer? Because I feel like society tries to pigeonhole people. You're this or you're that.
Yes.
And so these are things I feel like we are capable of having so many different talents and places and spaces that we can fill up. But again, they try to box us. So what is that like with the attorney life and then the comic book life?
Yeah. I mean, first they try to box you with you're Black, so you're not going to go to school, you're not going to do well, you're not going to graduate, you're not going to get a degree. So that's the first box that you break out of, right? And then you go on and do even more than people expect. So I think I'm used to breaking through those kind of boxes. And I grew up with people who broke and shattered ceiling after ceiling. So they inspired me. I also knew that, yes, I was working in what was a very conservative profession. And so at the water cooler, when people are discussing the finer points of law and certain court decisions and what judge said what, and they're like, so what did you spend your Saturday doing? You can't say I dressed up like Black Panther and went to this convention of people just like me who were dressed up as all sorts of characters and just hanging out, like geeking out over comics from the 50s. And then I started discovering African-American comics from the 50s and 60s and 40s. There's so many heroes that people didn't know about. And I've got this stack. I wish I could show it on camera, but it's just amazing. Black detective comics, Black superheroes, and Black romance comics too. So my husband laughs a lot because he'll see me just suddenly reading, an imprint from 1952, and it's all Black characters, and it's a romance, but it's in comic book form. And I just love it. It's a piece of history that I think a lot of people don't have access to or are even aware of beyond what is in mainstream media. And that's part of my mission. I just want to bring all of that to the forefront and let people know that this is a rich history here. There's so much. There's so much. And it's not all superheroes. It's everything. It's sometimes they're political, sometimes they're just slice of life. And you can enjoy it if you love pictures and you just love reading.
Wow. So there's a whole world for us to discover that many of us are not aware of. I mean, you got my interest piqued a little bit because I have to say, I respect the love of comic books, but it never ended up being my thing. But now as you start telling me about all of these vintage ones and the different topics and focuses, I'm like, okay, now you might send me down that path. I know you got me sold for the little one. I know I'm there for that. And I understand too the visuals with this. With the line of work that I do, all of these wonderful visuals and the different types of readers that we have, this is intriguing. This is something that will bring our children in. Sometimes when they don't want to pick up a book that has the full text on the page and is not as visual, the same value is here. And we're meeting our children where they are. A lot of them, they love, they call these graphic novels as well, right?
Yes. Yes. And you're right. The reluctant readers especially do tend to gravitate more towards graphic novels and comic books because as soon as they see those illustrations, they think this is easy for me to access. And they're not getting as tripped up in the words because if they don't understand the words, they can figure out what's going on from the image.
Yes. I'm just trying to give everybody some
Thank
visuals
you.
here. Well, listen, everybody, I know you are enjoying this conversation that we're having with Miia. And if you are, make sure that you click that share button so that other people can be aware of this as well. And do not leave us without making sure that you like Clever Communities in Action on Facebook and that you subscribe to Clever Communities in Action on YouTube because we have a lot of great things going on. So again, Miia, you said, how old are your sons?
The oldest is 5 and the youngest just turned
5.
2.
Okay. And so how do they feel about their mom being a comic book writer? And is it based around them?
Well, actually, I only have 2 sons, but the third character is based on a little boy named Amaziah, who is my nephew. He's half Togolese, half Nigerian. So his name means, I think, someone who has the strength of the Lord. And that just struck me as a superhero name. So I asked his mom if it was okay if I could steal his name. and created the character, and she loved it. They are the biggest supporters. And my oldest is forever talking about the books at show and tell in his in his kindergarten class, and he told me the other day that he wants to grow up and be a writer so he can help me with the comic books.
That is wonderful. I know that has to be great for your heart, for your spirit. And I mean, how cool is that to be a child and your mom is writing comic books, and then the characters are based around you, with your auntie, has a character with you. I mean, what is better than that? Wow. Wow. So listen, if people are interested, and I know they are, in purchasing these books and adding them to their home library, their church, mosque library, or giving these out as Christmas, Kwanzaa, birthday, just because gifts, where can they find them?
They're on Amazon and they're on my website. So my website is miato.com. That's miato.com. And if you go to Amazon and just type in Incredible Eyes, Starboy, Enter the Mummy, or my name, Miia Torera, you'll find the books there. And I can give you a link later if you want to post it.
Yes, definitely give me the link and I'll post it, but also make sure you drop it in the comment section after you leave. So anybody who is tuned in right now, they can go directly to that, and then I'll post the link. I'll post a separate link as well. But all of these comments are coming through. So much love for you. That is well deserved. We are so glad to see all of that love. And we're glad to see people inspired by literacy, by Black children's books, and just by positive people who are doing wonderful things. So Miia, was there anything before you leave us? Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the Virtual Village family?
I just wanted to commend you for the work that you're doing. I think it's amazing, and so needed. I love all the projects that you've been involved in, and I'm looking forward to working closely with you and doing whatever I can to keep the struggle going. Like we've got to promote this literacy and get our children reading and enjoying books just the way we did.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that, sis, and right back at you. And Rodney is like, you're not getting ready to go this fast. He has something else to say.
I just want you to tell us about this #1 Amazon Kids book new release.
Yeah. So, like I said, the response has been really good. So when the books debuted, they were in the Amazon hot new releases for children's graphic and comic book adventure books, Amazon books on siblings, Amazon books on family relations. They just fell into all these categories that I wasn't even aware of. And then they were in the bestseller rankings for, I think, about a week or so. And it was just amazing to see my book sitting next to Charlie Brown on the same line. I just couldn't believe it. I don't know. It was an amazing moment. I shared it with my community. I'm still sharing it with my community. I'm sure they're sick of it hearing it from me, but it's still just seeing your book with that tag on it, hot new release, and seeing it listed for a week or so with other amazing writers, classic comic books that everyone knows about that are so mainstream. It was incredible. So that's what those comments have been saying.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, and keep that excitement, keep that fire. I don't think anybody's tired of you talking about it. You earned it, you deserve it, and it's something that's really, really empowering to our community across the globe, and empowering to everyone, but particularly those of us who know that the value of that representation. So again, thank you. Keep up the great work. Keep giving yourself those pats on the back. You deserve it. Sometimes we got to toot our own horn a little bit, right? And you got a whole community that is here to toot it for you as well. And before you go, because Kiwana, I didn't do this with Kiwana because she's been here before and she is already a part of the literacy game, but I have to induct you into our literacy game. So now, after coming on here and sharing with us and reading your book, you are now a member of our literacy gang. Our gang is founded on a love of literacy, culture, community, and just a love of all for one another. So you cannot get out of this game. This love is here for you for life, and you are welcome to come back here anytime that you like. So everybody, let's welcome Miss Miia to our literacy game. She is officially a member. Gang.
That was the easiest
Yes.
gang initiation ever.
Yes, we got a different kind of gang going on around here, but it is a positive gang, and our membership continues to grow, and we are glad to have you a part of it, sis. So thank you so much again. You are welcome here anytime that you like. We look forward to some future collaborations, and
Yes.
everybody tuned in. Make sure that you guys get a copy of these books again, whether it's for your children, your nieces, your nephews, your church, your mosque, your neighbors. Okay, don't be afraid to be the lady, the man who just gives out books. Okay, don't be afraid to be that. I am that. All right, sis. Well, you have a wonderful evening. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. So that was wonderful. I really enjoyed this whole night. It's been really, really great. And to all of the viewers tuned in to support Kiwana and to support Miia, we are so glad to have our virtual villagers who are here with us every week. And for the new ones, we are glad to have you all here. We are doing this all the time. So make sure you all don't become strangers to the new virtual villagers. And again, make sure you all click that share button and that you like Clever Communities in Action on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. Now, ordinarily, this is the end of the show, but we have a dynamic young person. You saw him bring us that moment in history, and we are going to bring him on because he is doing something that is worthy of us switching up our show pattern on this Tuesday night. And we want him to talk about it with us briefly. So, and the links are being dropped in here for the books where you can purchase them. But right now we are going to bring on, thank you, all these wonderful comments, all these new virtual villagers, man, we love y'all. We are sending you all so much love. Yes. But we're going to bring on Jaimir. How are you doing? We cannot see you well. I promise you all, he has a lovely face. But this is Jaimir, and actually during the pandemic, when the schools were shut down, there it is. We can see you now. And he is actually spending time with his grandmother and great grandmother. So the grandmother theme is just real thick tonight. But I got to toot your horn real quickly, Jaimir. So he was one of our Virtual Village 2020 influencers. We actually created an intern for youth because during the pandemic, schools were shut down. Some of them were kind of having work to do. Some of them were not. And it's like they need positive things to do. And it was a way for them to earn a little bit and for them to gain some skills that they did not have before, but they ended up showing us things about themselves that we had no idea that youth that young could do. So this is Jaimir, and he is now the broadcast tech for season 2 of the Virtual Village. So how are you doing this evening, Jaimir?
Man, I'm doing great, Miss Star. It's just like I've been really fortunate to be able to work with CCIA. This evening I had to do a lot of like running around, but I'm just still upbeat, still high. There's Mr. Jordan. Hey, Mr. Rodney. Just been happy to have the opportunity over the last couple months and just been real thankful. Tonight I'm doing real well. Just a little bit tired, but I'm running off like fumes now, so still hype.
And he's doing a lot of things again. He is visiting his he's in further down south with his grandmother and great grandmother and helping out a lot down there. And I tease him a lot because he is in the country. But I think that he's really, really great. I'm somewhat of a country girl myself. I'm from Alabama originally. So I definitely understand that life, but he's being such a help everywhere that he goes. But to let you guys know, Jaimir is a freshman at Howard University. He graduated from high school. Yes, with a 4.4 GPA.
I think it was a 4.7.
I think it was a 4.7.
So we spent a lot of time during this internship having internal and external laughter at the feats of these children and how they just act like it's no big deal. Like I think it was a 4.7. Yeah, I took a trip to the moon. You know, I built a rocket ship and orbited the Earth a couple of times. You know, it was really on that level with all of them. And so Jameer is still here with us and he's doing things behind the scenes. But now he has something coming up on Thursday, this Thursday, and he actually is going to be, he told all of his professors about what he does here with Clever Communities in Action. And one of his professors is actually going to come on Thursday and do a lecture. She is going to do a lecture about culture. Why is it important? And culture throughout the diaspora. And Jameer is going to be hosting that show. And I'm like, you do so many wonderful things. You are a freshman and your professor is coming on the show that you run behind the scenes, the organization that you work for, per your boldness, your spirit to go and approach her, and you're going to be hosting that. How do you feel about that?
When you say it like that, it's just been like, it's been really, see, I'm tripping over my words now, but I just feel like really excited about it because I get to sort of let more people know about what we're doing at CCIA, because like we used to say in the summer, it's like one of the best kept secrets, and we're trying to make it one, not a secret no more. So I just try to help out in that regard. And luckily, Dr. Brookins can come in and just give kids a lesson on culture. And I think that it lines up really well with everything that we have going on, because she is a psychologist. So to give like the nuances of psychology in regard to culture would definitely help out, and might because we're very literacy focused, so have that STEM aspect, because the other day was STEM day, so I guess this is kind of like their week, if that makes sense. But you know, like, just part of the job.
He's so modest. We've never quite encountered a young one like this. But Jameer, definitely, I know that you've had a long day, because you guys who saw him as a Virtual Village 2020 influencer, his nickname became Professor J, because of the level of knowledge that he has about our history and culture, how dynamic of an orator that he is. But today he has taken a little sibling to the doctor. He has been tending to grandmother and great grandmother and another little sibling, and doing a lot of things to help everybody out, as well as being a freshman, the classes that he had to take, and then doing the work that he does for Clever Communities in Action. So we don't want to overburden you, but I did want everybody to see your face and to hear about what you're doing on Thursday. So make sure that you tune in and support him. Make sure that you tune in to find out what Dr. Brookins is going to be talking about. We have the outline of her presentation, and it's going to be really, really wonderful. And we go all out to bring good family programming to you guys. So make sure that you're clicking the share button and that people know about this, because we talk a lot about we need positive representation. We need positive programming. Well, that's what this is. It's something where the whole family, grandma, granddaddy, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, and of course the children, everybody can tune into this. So make sure you guys mark your calendar. That is this Thursday at 7 p.m. It's going down. It's the Howard Takeover. It is the Howard University Takeover. I know, Rodney, I didn't say HU because he might feel some kind of way. I was specific. I said the Howard University takeover. So it's the HBCU hour.
That doesn't bother me at all. Jameer is operating in the great tradition of Howard University. So many of our great professionals that have come from Howard, and researchers and leaders and politicians, elected officials. So there's no hate there. There's nothing but love. So Jameer, hold it down and do what we sent you there to do.
Sure enough. Appreciate it.
Yes, well, we are proud of you, but we also, again, know you have had a long day. So, young brother, get your rest, okay? And again, we are extremely proud of you. And I know that you are going to do an excellent job on Thursday. And you continue to do a wonderful job here with Clever Communities in front of and behind the scene. There's the flyer. There it is. That is Jameer, and that is his professor, Dr. Brookins. We have shared this on the Clever Communities in Action Facebook page. So make sure you go back and find that flyer and you share that with your social media and your network as well. So thank you for putting that up there. And Jameer, you go ahead and get you some rest, all right? All right, you have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, Jordan, it's just you and me. And we are going to slow this train down, take it on in. But was there anything that you wanted to say before we get out of here this evening?
Well, I just want to let Jameer know how proud I am of him and the work that he's doing and taking care of his family and staying on top of his studies. I mean, that's what our tradition is. That's what we expect of him. And, we wouldn't expect anything less. So just continue to do that work. I was in a Norfolk branch NAACP meeting yesterday, and Ayana's name came up and Jameer's name came up from their work with AXO and being on the national stage there. So it just seems like everywhere I go every day, it comes back to what Clever Communities in Action is about, with affirming culture and positive affirmation and history and literacy in the virtual village. So again, I'm just honored to be able to be a part and be supportive of this great work and movement that you are leading. And I didn't get a chance to ask how things were going in Flint, Michigan, but I'm glad to see that they got the vote out. So that's a positive thing as well. So, it's been a very uplifting week. Like I told you, coming up here is always the highlight for me. And then I have one question for you. So do you have, is it Starboy? What was the name of the book that was being read, the comic book? Yes. So
incredible.
Well, you don't have the one she was reading tonight?
I don't think so. I have
well, I need you to get it so I can see how the story ends. So I'm still hanging on that cliff.
I know, right? Well, I thought I had. Well, I will have it. Yep. Definitely.
We'll get it.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, tonight has been really great. All of our nights have been wonderful. All of our community connectors have brought so much, as well as our community readers. We definitely appreciate the energy and the talent that both Kiwana and Miia brought tonight. And these comic books here, everybody, you need to get them. You need to have them, because one of the things that we touched on it tonight, and Miia and I talked about this together, that for our reluctant readers, again, to reiterate that these graphic novels are things that they definitely gravitate towards. And we don't want to leave out our reluctant readers. We want to make them become avid readers, voracious readers. And this is that gateway. This is that gateway book right here to get them in. And even for our voracious readers, this is wonderful. So definitely been a great night. And I will make sure I get that book to you, Jordan, because we are on that cliffhanger. We got to come off of it. We want to know what happened. So thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Those of you who tune in constantly and support the Virtual Village, we love you. We appreciate your energy. Y'all stay tuned, because again, what do I always say? We working day and night to make sure that we are bringing this quality programming to you and your family. So with that said, we are out of here. You guys have a wonderful evening. All right. Peace.
Look, mommy, community in action. Look, oh my, look, sound of that. Look, daddy, this book for me too. Look, oh my, look, sound of that. Creative, affirming, and culture for me too. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Learning and exploring about history, you see. Look, mommy, let us sound of that. We confident, we practicing those influency. Look, daddy, let us sound of that. Families, they bonding, they representing me. Look, granny, let us sound of that. Look, auntie, let us sound of that. Nice, I see, let us sound of that.
So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while we represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down where they have to sit. So reliable, culturally relevant. Sit back and listen to the wisdom while you represent. So reliable, culturally relevant. relevant. Readers to leaders, they hold it down, yeah, they have a sit.
Look, mommy, community in action. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Look, daddy, there's a book for me too. Well, oh my, let us down to that. Creative, urban culture for me too. Look, Granny, let us down to that.